onboarding. This onboarding has a lot to do with, like setting you up for success, right? So everything we need to do, like what are the software that you need to install. I think we'll do that. We'll do that mostly tomorrow. All right. What type of computers you need, what must you install on your computer, and all of that is something that we're going to go through it. Okay, in the course of this welcome and onboarding. So we use something called WSL, right? WSL is the full meaning is Windows Subsystem for Linux. So now it's a technology that Microsoft has brought in, and that you can run a Linux computer, okay, on your Windows computer. I think someone mentioned that he's a Linux guy here, right? So normally he can easily appreciate this, when you compare it with the world of VirtualBox, right? Virtual machines, having also what? Now there's a better approach, right? So you can quickly have access to this. So we're gonna go through, what is it, how is it like how to install this, okay, and all of that, because when we get to Linux, right, what you need this environment to practice, okay? Our classes are hands-on from day one, okay? Everything is learning, practice, and practice. So so today, tomorrow, okay, is everything around onboarding and all of that. So please, you want to really make sure that you are here to get your environment set up, okay? And we're going to have the other engineers here tomorrow, okay? We'll divide ourselves into groups so that we can set up your environment. But for this, you need to be on your laptop, okay? You have your laptop. It's a very straightforward process. You just run a few commands on your Windows PowerShell, and you get that going. And so we have the documentations for that. Everything is well documented, and we'll go through that. So when we're done with the onboarding, okay, right there, we're going to move into Linux administration. So because applications needs infrastructures to run on, right? And one of the most popular infra out there is Linux servers. So it's very important for you to understand and have some basic knowledge, okay, of Linux. I know that most of you, you're already used to Windows computers, but just normal. But like Windows is so deep, okay. But you've just known how to, okay, you can open your Windows, you click here, open your file, you can. But very soon you're going to start understanding the powers of the laptop you have in your hands. It has powers, but unless you know the power of that machine, you will not be able to exploit, right? So while we look at operating system, but our main focus is Linux. So here we are dealing mostly with Ubuntu and other Linux distributions. And then we also get into the cloud. So you can see already you have some, some materials there for you, to just start going through them, right? So we already, get you guys going on this one. Okay, so if you already have access to these, now you should already, be able to, get going here. So this one runs, and again, everything is scheduled, right? So you see, for now, we don't have any schedule here yet, but sooner or later, you're going to have all your schedules being sent out, and that's why you need to have a LionTech email, okay? That's why you're in school, and we give you guys IDs because we want you to feel proud that you are in school, right? All right. When we're done with that, we get into chapter. So please, you'll notice that in each of this section, you have you have the file section. So this is where you will always have, your materials under files. Okay. And under files, we click here, you see everything is going to be there for you, right? And you can only access this with your LionTech email, and that's why we gave you those emails. Without the emails, you will not have access. All right. So please, if you haven't gotten your email yet, your credentials. So it looks like something like so when we create the emails, we'll send it out like this. Let me just give an example here. So you can see, okay, it's something. So you see that? So we send you an email, a message like this. It says your display name is this, your LionTech email is this, and then your temporary password is this. So all you do is to just watch the video that we share with you, or sometimes we share with you the link to just click and start the sign-in process. and that's all you need, right? So again, that's what we do, and we just send it to you, and we guide you on how to, how to set up the environment. So then we get into Linux. We look at users management in Linux, files and directory management, its importance and all of that, and it runs through. And then when we're done with that, we get into source code management, okay, Git, and distributed versions control system. We are soon going to start looking at how this is so important in the software development lifecycle, right? So Git, source code management, you see there's nothing yet just yet, but as we progress, so this is how we are going to move, right? From 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, and then what, move to 0, 3. 0, 3 is a very, very interesting aspect, because now what we are getting you involved in how applications are built, right? So what are the technologies that you're going to use, right? How we build applications, how we run tests, okay? Code quality analysis on those applications, all right? Everything about what? Everything about applications, how they are built, especially Java-based applications. So Java applications, Python applications, .NET, okay, because see, majority of applications today in the market are Java, right? So for example, now if the Facebook app is Java, okay, when developers write the source code, what happens, right? So what we get into this, and I think that answers the question of Winslet, who mentioned, is it written? I think it's Love, right? Love mentioned, or what, her mom paid $100,000. I mean, $100,000, okay, 100,000 francs CFA for website. But now there's a difference, okay? You are going to be able to do something even more complicated for your mom. Why? Because this program is not a web development program, God forbid. Okay, it's far, far, far above that. When you look at the the Facebook web application, okay, you also see yourself like, oh, you know what, you are getting in to learn how the Facebook application came into being, right? It is not the HTML thing that we learn on YouTube or we learn online. No, it's very, very far from it. So you will hear about the technologies that we use to bring about an application, and not just hear them, you are going to practice them. And that's why this program, okay, is hands-on from day one. Okay, that's why this week you want to make sure that you are getting all your requirements, everything you need, okay, to get going should be in place. All right. Okay, so once we look at application build technologies, how are application built, what tools are used to build an application, what tools are used to run security testing on this application, what tools are used to run code quality analysis on the application, what tools are used to detect if there are any bugs in that application. So we look at that. And then what in that same chapter 3, we want to look at how applications are stored, right? So we look at stuff like Artifactory. So that's a new term you're going to learn, right? Artifactory repository management, all of that. So we look at the technology that we're going to look at there. Then after that, we look at web applications. How do we then deploy the application, right? So after you have built the application, you run all the test cases. How do you make it available to your end user? So come back and just think about this. Okay, you are okay. Good. We have a baker in the house, right? So after you have mixed everything and you go through the baking process, that bread or that cake needs to be made available to your end users. So what is the medium that you're going to use? How would that cake reach the store? I mean, how would that cake be served to your customers? It would definitely be probably put in a counter somewhere in the store where your customers come in and they buy the cake, and that's it. That's how the process ends there. And then one of the key benefits of DevOps is automation, right? Automation. I don't know, those of us who are in the West, I think even in Cameroon now and somewhere, even in Nigeria, right? You see, if you go to some stores, right, you see, self-checkout machines where you just, you scan the products, and it automatically calculates everything for you, and what you just pay. So in fact, so automation, right? the industry has so much moved. Okay, the web application industry, where the application and software industry has moved, has evolved. So what we are moving from the traditional ways of doing things into what? Into an automated approach. Right. That's why we have automation, automated tools here. So what are the tools that we can use to automate our application? And what you're going to learn about technologies like Jenkins, Azure DevOps, okay, and Circus CI. So all of these are so important. Why? Because this is the core of DevOps. The reason why most companies today are seeking DevOps engineers is because of one thing, okay, automation. Because when you come in, you're going to be able to automate, okay, their systems and their processes. And I think we'll look at, one or two job descriptions tomorrow, so that you can actually understand, okay, and then you can look at this outline and look at that job description. Then you understand that we are training you to become a plumber, okay? I get what I'm saying, no? So what I mean is, if you go in to learn to become a plumber, you become what? You learn to become a plumber. From day one, you wouldn't know what you're going to become, right? I'm learning these tools to become a plumber. How do I use this? Or how do I, fix a toilet bowl? How do I fix a leakage, right? All of that. So the training is very focused on that. So this is going to run through, and then of course we get into Docker. Docker is also a modern technology today, and it's mostly focused on how can we break our applications and put the features into containers, right? So you learn a lot about how to containerize applications. This is this is the new approach, okay? So we learn about Docker and Containerd. These are the technologies that we are going to use to deploy our application and all of that. When we're done with that, we move into, oh my God, Kubernetes. This is the core. So this is where we deploy our containerized application. You learn a lot here. And here you learn a lot about AWS clouds, okay, how companies use AWS cloud to do a lot of stuff. And again, that comes back to your love. Okay, you learn how to create a domain name, right? And deploy an application using a domain name, right? So we are going to buy a domain name from AWS cloud. Okay, we're going to look at how to configure our applications and deploy it to the end users and all of that. So that is a very, very, in fact, critical technology and DevOps tool. There is no job description on DevOps that you see today that will not involve Kubernetes, right? So it's very important to know that, and what is called Kubernetes. After that, we're going to look at application monitoring, okay? Monitoring and logging. This alone can give you a job. You can work for a company, and all you do is to monitor the applications from anywhere, right? So we have tools that we're going to study here. Okay, and we'll look at tools here like Elasticsearch, Firebase, and Kibana. And then we're also going to study something like Grafana and Prometheus, and also a technology called Datadog. And I think we also have Dynatrace, right, that we're going to study there. Okay. When we're done with this, we move into the world of infrastructure as code. And here we're going to study something like Pulumi, Terraform, and AWS CloudFormation. So infrastructure as code, let me just break it down a little bit, right? Okay, let's imagine, okay, for example, okay, now this class, okay, what we are now, you are able to join this course because you have a phone, right? Without a phone or without a computer, you will not be able to join this course. That's a fact. So that phone in your hand is infrastructure. That computer you're using is what is infrastructure. Why? Because without that computer, you will not be able to install anything. In fact, how you even install Microsoft Teams without a phone or without a computer? So this becomes infrastructures. But now, at the company level, at the macro level, can you guess how many computers a company like MTN Nigeria, is using to run its applications? Just guess, right? It's definitely going to be in the thousands. Okay, now imagine that, okay, if MTN Nigeria has 1,000 servers, okay, that are supporting their application, because just imagine Nigeria has over 250 million population, right? And so let's imagine, okay, about 100 million of those are MTN customers. Do you know what it means? Like, do you know the volume? Just imagine the volume of infrastructure that you will need to support that application, right? It is huge. So the goal for IAC is also equals to infrastructure as code, is, oh, you know what? Instead of us to go in and start managing, our infrastructure manually, we can use a tool that can help us to automate, that entire process. So this is a very, very, very important tool in itself, because if you understand infrastructure as code very well, and maybe write the certification exams for this. Okay, I will talk about that when we, as we progress in the course, right? You can work for a company as their infrastructure engineer. It pays also very good. The pay is from 110,000 euros a year, right? Or at least 90,000 a year, right? Just working as infrastructure, because every application needs an infrastructure, right? So if you understand how to automate this, believe me, you are good and you're very hot in the market. So we look at that, and then when we move to chapter 8, we move to chapter 9, and this is configuration management. Okay, so a very good example is, imagine you have 1,000 computers, okay, like in the case of MTN, right? And you want to deploy an announcement. Okay, you want to send a message to, to about 1 million customers at the same time. But you can use a tool, configuration manager, to do that. And of course, there are CRM tools, but Ansible is very different from those tools. So let's imagine that you want to maybe those systems are running, let's say, okay, these are Windows systems, okay, they are running maybe Microsoft, a different version, and then you want to update those versions on 1,000 of those computers maybe today, latest version. You can use Ansible to automate those configurations across that. How about we have a new employee, and this employee needs access to maybe 1,000 computers, right? Are you going to go log into those computers manually, one at a time, or do we have a technology we can use to easily automate these configs? The answer is yes, right? And all of that. How about, doing some kind of security patches, right? That needs to be done on maybe a daily basis or, on a weekly basis. And those that have worked for companies, you understand that sometimes how many of you have noticed that Microsoft sends out patches like every month when you have that update and the prompt, okay, that is asking you to update your computer. Or maybe they'll say, oh, you know what, maybe you have updates available, and then they're asking you to update and restart your computer, or update and shut down, right? So that's an example of configuration management. Now, Microsoft they have like billions of devices. How are they able to push all of these updates to those computers? Okay, so you just sit where you are and you just have a prompt. Please reset your computer for update, right? There's a new update. So that's a very good example of configuration management. Okay. All right. So when we're done with that, then we move into the cloud. So cloud, this is what we're going to be studying. The cloud. We're going to look at AWS. Very important. Why do companies want to use AWS? Why would company choose Azure over AWS? Why would they choose GCP over AWS and all of that? So cloud is a very, very serious one, and there are lots of certifications that you can go in after we're done with the cloud stuff. There's a practitioner, we have the architect, we have DevOps certifications that you can go in for, and the cloud itself has a lot of job opportunities. That's a fact, right? A lot of it. So having knowledge and experience with cloud is a big plus, right? So after that, we are going to see a little bit of Python and scripting. So Python, for DevOps engineers, scripting, automation, right? Like how to write automated script, how to write script, right? To automate simple processes and all of that is, is quite very, very, very important. So as soon as we're done with chapter 10, chapter 11 deals with, with scripting and all of that. And then we get into technical documentation, okay? Because now look at something. As a DevOps engineer, all right, one of your job is going to be able to document your processes. And that's why in this program, we have a lot of documentation that we do, right? And all of that. So and then we're done with that. We move into Scrum, okay? Most of you don't know what Scrum is, but Scrum is just a project management methodology. Okay, so normally you are going to work in a company, you're going to work in a team. So that company may use some systems and processes, okay, to manage the task and manage all of that. So we learned a bit of Scrum there, and then after that we have our Thanksgiving and planning for the boot camp. Okay, our job readiness campaign is always the last thing that we do. So this program is meant to get you ready for the job market. It's not for you to get done. I know it's for you to get ready for the job market. That is the goal, okay, of this program. That's where we are driving to. So once we get here, boot camp is not going to run like we are running daily classes. It's definitely going to run like once a week. So everything around your resume preparations, placement assistance, referrals, okay, this is everything that we are going to be doing. And the good news is that before we get done here, most of you are going to have offices already in your countries. So it becomes so easy for us to give you guys references and all of that. So please be excited. This program is super demanding. So you need to be able to get your projects going. Okay, and all of that. So please, is so important. So this is your program. This is your schedule. I don't know if anybody has a question at this level, I'll be able to answer them. Any question and the program outline, what we are going to be covering. Any questions? Yes, Mr. Vincent, just unmute yourself and ask a question, please.
Yes, sir. The program outline. If I am an Apple user, like my laptop is a MacBook, am I going to have some challenges with some of the things we're doing?
No. You will not. And that's because the answer is no. Okay. No challenge.
Okay.
No challenge. Yeah. No challenge yet. Okay, good. All right. Anyone else has a question they want to ask?